There were three significant changes in the Chelsea starting lineup in comparison to what we had predicted in their 5-0 loss against Arsenal on Tuesday night at the Emirates Stadium as the Premier League action resumed. Welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Robert Kesakos is my name. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. For those that have had any victory today, we do celebrate with you. And for those that are having challenges, we do pray that God helps you, steer you through. Otherwise, welcome back from that Tuesday night Premier League action. And I do hope that you are geared up for the Wednesday action that continues with 4 fixtures that will be coming your way, as we will see later in this video. But for now, we'll kick off things at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal beat up against Chelsea by 5-0. What a poor performance from Chelsea in the second half. But there were 3 significant changes to their starting lineup, with Badiashile starting alongside Axel Disasi in centre back, while Alfie Gilchrist started at right back. Quite not what we had predicted. I had hoped that Thiago Silva, who started on the bench, as well as Trevor Chalobah, could be available to start this particular fixture, given their performances against Manchester City on the weekend, as they got knocked out of the FA Cup by 1-0. While I did think Malo Gusto, who has had quite a brilliant debut season in his Chelsea career, would be available to start at that right back. And should those players have started, perhaps we'll be having a different conversation. Maybe Chelsea would have still lost, but perhaps we wouldn't be speaking about the goal margin that we are speaking about. It all felt like a revenge for Chelsea's 6-0 victory against Arsenal. I think back, was it 2014 or something, during Jose Mourinho's second spell in the Premier League with Chelsea. Chelsea beating up against Arsenal by 6-0 when Arsene Wenger was marking his 1000th game for the Gunners there. He did suffer a humiliating defeat at the hands of Chelsea, 6-0. Mohamed Salah did come off the bench to score in that particular fixture, for those of you that remember. And Arsenal finished that game with a man less after Kieran Gibbs was wrongly awarded a red card, when it was in actual sense Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain that had handled the ball in the area that was destined for the back of the net. For those of you that do remember those things, well, I still remember some of them like it was yesterday, although I do not have who the complete goal scorers were on my fingertips. But it was a 6-0 drubbing for the Gunners on that particular evening. Well, yesterday felt like a sweet revenge for the Gunners, as they put 5 past the Blues there. The first half, I thought the scoreline did not tell the perfect picture of what the whole first half was about, because while Arsenal could have scored more than just one, I did think they could have also easily conceded on the other side. Leandro Trossard did open the scoring for the Gunners, as he marked his 10th goal of the Premier League this season, with Declan Rice providing the assist. Then the Chelsea goalkeeper Petrovic did quite pull off a few saves here and there, including, I think, a deflected attempt by, was it Leandro Trossard again, in that first half. Whereas on the other side, Arsenal looked vulnerable on the counter. The number of times Chelsea did get in behind them, especially Nicholas Jackson, who is not a very decent, finisher in front of goal. He did get better over William Saliba on 1 or 2 occasions, and then of course Marco Cucurella did have a glaring opportunity in that first half, but again Chelsea could not capitalize on those half chances to put at least one into the back of the net. Yes, David Raya was called into action here and there, but overall I thought Chelsea did not represent themselves well, especially in the second half, because as far as the first half went, they did have their chances here and there, although they just did not make good of them. On the other side, Arsenal could have scored more than just one, but sometimes they did, overplay it. They didn't. Some players were not alive to Martin Odegaard's intricate passes in the final third. Sometimes they just delayed to lay up that ball when another player presented himself in a good position and all those kinds of things. But in the second half, the Gunners were quite lethal. Ben White scoring to make it 2-0, while Kai Havertz scored against his former masters to make it 3-0. I thought there was a foul in the build-up to the third Arsenal goal because on the other side, Gabriel Magalhaes was involved in a duel with Noni Madueke, who he left on the ground and did stamp on him. Maybe not intentionally, but perhaps accidentally. But I did think that tag on Nono Madueke during that duel could have easily passed for foul. But then it wasn't called. And then Arsenal went on the other side with Martin Odegaard playing a sumptuous through ball for Kai Havertz to go on and make it 3-0. What a decent player Martin Odegaard is. Quite the revelation. When you look back at the amount of money that they bought him for about 40 million euros from Real Madrid, quite the bargain in recent times as far as football transfers go. And then, of course, speaking about what could have been fouls, Chelsea could have easily been down to 10 men as early as the first half because Nicholas Jackson was late with his foul against Takahiro Tomiyasu, stamping on his foot glaringly. The referee did not give any card, not a yellow card. VAR did not intervene, so they literally let that pass, but it could have easily been a red card on another day should the referee had put his mind to it. But anyway, I'm sure Arsenal fans or even Arsenal minders won't dwell too much on that particular foul because Arsenal eventually got the better of Chelsea. And then, of course, Kai Havertz did score the fourth there with Bukayo Saka providing the assist, while Ben White did also score the fifth goal of the game with Martin Odegaard providing the assist as Arsenal completed their 5-0 thumping of Chelsea. In the substitutes, Gabriel Martinelli had an opportunity that he could have buried. He went on a goalkeeper to beat with a decent through ball, but then Chelsea's goalkeeper Petrovic was up to the challenge and he did save that ball. When you look at overall, I did think that Chelsea did not really challenge Arsenal enough in that midfield. Yes, Arsenal had their best three midfield wishful duo of Thomas Partey. What a player with those easy passes. Sometimes it makes it look so easy because he normally plays that one touch, a quick one, and usually it's a forward-going pass. A very, very decent player there. And I did think, if anything, yesterday's game was another revelation that Arsenal have missed Thomas Partey for the better part of the season when he was injured. And ever since he returned from injury, yesterday was his first full start of a game of football. And I was reading some comments on X yesterday, and I did see some Arsenal fans say, had Thomas Partey started in their game against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, maybe we would be having a different conversation. But perhaps that would be a story for another day, or perhaps we will never know since that wasn't the case. But I thought Thomas Partey was quite brilliant, just as much as Declan Rice, running box to box, winning balls back up high the pitch, and then Martin Odegaard simply flawless, sumptuous through balls. He was just involved in literally everything in the build-up to almost all Arsenal's goals. Everything that Arsenal did brilliantly, Martin Odegaard was in the mix of that, just as much as Thomas Partey and Declan Rice in that midfield, while Moses Caicedo, Conor Gallagher, as well as Enzo Fernandez did sort of struggle in certain moments in the game to contain that Arsenal midfield. But yes, Chelsea also did have a fair share of the ball possession, so that clearly tells you that they do have the potential in there. But yesterday, they just weren't up to the task, especially bearing in mind that they had just come from that defeat against Manchester City that I thought was quite very narrow because, in my opinion, they could have done more to win that particular fixture. But anyway, that was a brilliant victory for the Gunners, who seem to get goals from all sorts of angles. Bukayo Saka has 14 goals. He provided an assist yesterday, but I thought he's still not yet on it. He's out of form for me, which begs the question in certain Arsenal circles that every time Gabriel Martinelli finds himself out of form, he's quickly dropped for another player. In this particular case, Leandro Trossard, while the reverse is not true for Bukayo Saka. Well, really, yes, there is a point in that, but you can hardly blame manager Mikel Arteta because he knows that even on the bad day, Bukayo Saka can sometimes come good of his potential and score you a goal or perhaps provide an assist. But we'll table that debate for another time. Then, of course, he has 14 goals, and then Kai Havertz has 11 goals. I thought there were 11. Sorry, I thought there were 12. I do not know, but according to the Premier League website, it is 11 goals. And of course, Leandro Trossard in that mix there with 10 goals. The captain, Martin Odegaard, has 8 goals to his name. So it looks like, whereas Arsenal do not have, that target man or that number one striker this season, they seem to be getting goals from all possible sources. Because none of their player is in the running for the Golden Boot, because that's up for Braut Erling Haaland of Manchester City, Cole Palmer, both who have 20 goals, while Oli Watkins of Aston Villa has 19 goals, and then Dominic Solanke at 18, that's of AFC Bournemouth. Then you have Alexander Isak and Mohamed Salah at 17 goals. Then you have Gerard Bowen of West Ham there with 15 goals, among others. But anyway, Arsenal, yes, and yet they remain the highest scoring team of the Premier League. I think they've scored 82 goals so far this season, more than any other team in the Premier League. And yet, they can't seem to escape that conversation of having that target man, that target striker. I do think Kai Havertz is coming good of them, and he may really change how they view things going into the transfer market in the summer. But again, we'll have that conversation at the right time when it is due. Anyways, let's move on. Today, the Premier League does continue with 4 fixtures on card, and here come the fixtures. At 9:45 p.m., Wolverhampton Wanderers will be at the Molineux Stadium to host AFC Bournemouth, while Crystal Palace will be at home against Newcastle at 10 p.m. Everton will be up against Liverpool in that Merseyside derby. Now, in Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool, he has had trouble going to Goodison Park. He has about 5 draws there, and I think 1-2. He won one, and I think lost the other. He did lose to Carlo Ancelotti in one of those visits. So this is a game to really look forward to as far as the Premier League title race is concerned, because following yesterday's victory, Arsenal are 3 points ahead of Liverpool at 77, while Liverpool have 74 points and 4 points ahead of Manchester City, who are in third place at 73 points. Remember, Manchester City do play on Thursday against Brighton, and then will proceed to play in the weekend against Nottingham Forest, while Arsenal will be involved in a London derby over the weekend against Tottenham, their arch rivals, Tottenham. So a lot of entertaining Premier League action that will be coming your way, but that game is really, really significant as far as the title race is concerned. So, whereas Everton did beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0 in the last fixture, but prior to that had lost by 6-0 against Chelsea, this is a sort of the kind of fixture that everybody may want to watch, especially if you are interested in who wins the Premier League title. And of course, the other game will be between Manchester United and Sheffield United at Old Trafford, still with kickoff slated for 10 p.m. sharp. That's East African time. Do let me know what your predictions are for those respective games. Personally, I do think that Wolves could bounce back and beat up against Bournemouth by perhaps 2-1. I do expect a very entertaining fixture between Crystal Palace and Newcastle. It could maybe a 2-2 draw or something like that. Everton, I'm a bit biased by this because Liverpool have quite a very decent team. I mean, they are second on the Premier League table, and yet Everton have been shambles this season. Never mind what's happened off the pitch as far as the implications of the profit and sustainability rules go, because they've been deducted a total of about 8 points so far due to those breaches. But I do think a derby is a derby. It doesn't matter who is on form, who has better players. Usually, teams tend to turn up for these games in different fashion, and any team can win it, or it can be forced into a draw. But we will wait to see what the result will come of that side. And then Manchester United, following that, after advancing to the finals of the FA Cup over the weekend, when they got the better of Coventry City 4-2 on penalties, on post-match penalties that proceeded a 3-3 all draw, will be up against Sheffield United. It's really hard to know what to make of a Manchester United side, but if they can't beat up against a Sheffield United side that are at bottom of this Premier League table, then I guess we won't have really much to speak about, because I like it said, manager Eric Ten Hag has about 6 or 7 games to prove himself to Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he is the right man for the job. Otherwise, he could be destined for a knife at Old Trafford. Anyway, that's it for me. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to comment, like, and share. And I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.